Yo, good morning, traders, and happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Market in the Morning. I'm your host, Kevin Dubrisky at Trading with Kev. Today is July 17th. We are halfway through the month. We have a FOMC meeting in just a couple of weeks. And today we have the one and only Imre joining us, giving us some great institutional information. Not data, but information, lead us down the right path, give us some insights, and set us up with some great trade setups today. So guys, if you're ready to make some money, smash that like button. Market in the Morning starts right now. Emery, good morning, brother. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. TGIF, I suppose.
Yep. Options expiration Friday.
There we go.
Got a
There
lot
we
going
go.
on.
You wanna dive right into that? Give us some insight into not what you mean by that. Obviously, it's options expiration, but what can that mean for the markets?
Well, we've got a beautiful storm of all sorts of different stuff kind of all cooking together here. Um, you know, we we've got this market here that's been so optimistic over and over and over again, and it finally seems to be buckling under a little bit of pressure. A little bit of pressure, not too much pressure, but just a little bit. And we see this with the renewed hostilities in the Middle East. And again, I don't think this is about war necessarily. It's going to be more so about energy disruptions and what that will mean downstream for inflation. So I see that as being, a concern for the market here, and we can see that reflected in very inflationary sensitive stocks and tickers, especially in the AI and chips and tech space. Other than that, we also had a very interesting set of remarks from President Trump yesterday regarding China, and the integrity of U.S. democracy and the election process. Is that really going to be something that's significant that the market is going to pay attention to long term? No. If that was the only reason we sold off overnight, I'd be incredibly bullish right now. So that is one piece of the puzzle. And then you add in the fact that it's options expiration day, which means that we're going to have a lot of market maker activity in the market. I don't want to say artificially suppressing prices, but typically there is going to be some incentive there for price to pin at certain strikes, based on where a cluster of options that are all expiring today are. So I've got a bunch of options expiring today, and the way that I trade options, I'm effectively a market maker when I'm trading options. So I'll be paying very close attention to my options exposure today, and any trading that I'm doing is going to be centered purely around market making for myself.
Awesome. When you say when you're trading options, you're a market maker, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so without giving away the entire strategy, what I would say broadly speaking is that I provide a certain amount of insurance to other larger institutional players. So I'm selling them insurance effectively. And when I sell insurance, there is a possibility that, that policy is going to kick in, and, I'm going to have to pay out on that insurance policy. So I might collect a premium for selling that insurance, but there is also the risk that I'm going to have to pay out on certain triggers if they come true. So to protect myself, I buy insurance against the insurance that I sell. And there is going to be a spread there, literally a spread in profit between what I'm selling the insurance to other institutional players for and the insurance that I'm paying. And in that spread is my profit margin.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I appreciate you breaking that down for us. You want to dive into some market terminal here and give us a read on what's going on? And other than Trump talking about China and the elections, what could have brought the markets lower today? And of course, other than the options expiration.
Yeah, so we do have some stuff on the economic calendar, right? I don't think this is necessarily going to be extremely market moving stuff. I think the most important things to be looking at will be the U Michigan sentiment preliminary reading that's going to be coming in. if there's a big miss on that in terms of sentiment, that could drive a little bit more of a bearish read for the session, at least in the short term. But generally speaking, we want to keep an eye on some of these numbers that are going to be coming out. They can be short-term catalysts of volatility, but I don't think anything here on the calendar for today is ultimately going to be what's going to drive the session. What's going to drive the session, we're just going to come back to the main dashboard here. It's going to be any breaking news regarding what's happening in the Middle East. This is, this is a significant escalation,
Yep.
and it doesn't really seem, at least right now, I'm sure that there's back channel talks that we don't have all the details on, but it seems right now as though there isn't an obvious off ramp. And that's really what the market is pricing in right now is a continued set of escalations, which is going to start derailing energy prices even further. So if we pull up crude oil for a moment here, and can't say you know what, I'm gonna not so humbly take a lot of credit for this call. I think my downside target that I was talking about got hit to about the penny, and it's been nothing but upside since then. And what we can see here, marrying the fundamentals with the technicals, folks, is acceptance. Here what we have is a sideways range where the market is building very clearly a high and a low to that range, and we're trying to break out of it. Now, acceptance matters in the context of where we were before, which is down here. You can see that the market built acceptance lower, value migrated higher. We built acceptance higher, value migrated higher. That to me is the definition of a trend. Now, does this mean we're going all the way back to the $100 plus range? No, not necessarily, but I still have some upside here in crude, and I'm happy to continue holding that upside exposure until the market proves otherwise. Right. So crude to me is an interesting market to be looking at. And again, there's so many ways to express an idea, traders. You don't have to do it through futures. You don't have to do it through CFDs. You don't have to do it through stocks or an ETF. There are so many ways to express an idea. I personally prefer to look at energy stocks, within a basket. So I'm looking at an ETF called XLE, for example, or OIH. And then within those ETFs, I'm looking at the individual names that make up that ETF. Right. So that's just my personal preference on how I want to play oil. And I know we've always got a lot of gold traders in the house. I'll be honest, gold is something that has not been all that interesting to me of late. I know we've had like a significant sell-off there, but just type in the right symbol, that would help. But to me, it's just not a very interesting market. And it's not that gold is illiquid, and that's the reason I'm not interested in playing it. Although that is again, it's not that it's illiquid, but options liquidity is a little bit tricky at times. The reason that I'm not so interested in gold is that I still think we have just the bottom of this range here. Below that, things do get spicy. But I think the fundamental drivers combined with the fact of where we are just make gold a very tricky short in the short term, right? So I think the short plays I don't want to say have been concluded, but in the short term, at least, I think being short here is now a slightly riskier proposition. So I'd like to see a technical break, below the support level here in order to gauge whether or not there's enough interest in driving the market even lower. In the short term, however, I'd be looking for relief rallies. Gold is not my market to trade today, though.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It hasn't been, me personally, I haven't been a fan of gold this past week or so. I feel like you said, volume's dried out. It's found a point where we're not making our way in either direction. We keep trying to notch lower with that overall bearish trend. That 30% from all-time highs, key psychological percentage number, is sort of making it harder for us to have that even stronger break to the downside. And of course, the Fed, the CPI data coming out cooler than expected also decreases the odds of a rate hike. So
Yeah, I would completely agree with that as well. And like the reason that gold is kind of pinning here is not surprising. So technically we can see here we have this little range that we built up in a fall to late of 2025. And below that, what do we have? We have some one-way traffic here, just technically in gold, right? So this is that area where the market went up, not necessarily because sellers got absolutely annihilated. The market partly went up here because sellers just weren't present. So if there are no sellers willing to make a two-way market, you're going to get these kinds of parabolic rises. And that's exactly what happened on this blow-off spike top here as well. Okay, so if we lose that support area, then we get to see whether or not gold buyers are for real. Because I think then we'll see if there's vested interest in defending what has been a low volume corridor on the way up, right? So there's just, in my humble opinion, there have just been far better markets to trade than straight gold, whether it's on the CFD or future side. I think on the stock side, gold has been very interesting to trade. So there have been various ways to get some exposure there if you like. So GDX, we did form a tradable bottom that I was calling out a while ago, and we've now rolled over, taken out those lows, and you can see it's a very similar story in the gold miners ETF as well, where we have that last bit of technical support coming in right around 68.31 in GDX.
Awesome. Guys, getting some gems here. Getting some gems. Gem alert. Guys, smash that like button. Emery, you're the GOAT. Emery, I wanted to ask you, did you happen to see Trump announced yesterday too? I'm going to share my screen for a quick moment. Truth Social, owned by Trump Media and Technologies, is launching a licensed data feed called Truth API that will sell institutional investors and trading firms high-speed access to posts from the platform most influential accounts in milliseconds. Is Trump selling signals?
Yeah, that actually seems like what it is, doesn't it? Yeah. So, I will not be signing up for that, but
you will or won't be.
I will not be. It's not where I have an edge. But any algorithmic trading firms will definitely be signing up for that. That's
crazy.
So blatantly corrupt. I did not see that. That is one of the most corrupt things I've seen. And I mean,
God forbid anybody told him like, hey, you're sort of pushing it there.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious.
Yeah, that's wild.
What the actual F? That is nuts, man.
What happened? There we go. That was weird. You guys see me okay? Okay.
Yep. I think I might have accidentally clicked something. Yeah, that looks that's hilarious. I literally have no words. I'm speechless.
Yeah, no, it all. It's something. It's something, all right.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not going to be a market moving event, and what it is it's essentially going to be an opportunity for high frequency trading firms to to get in and out very quickly and make some good money off those moves. But yep. I don't think it's like market moving news in any way necessarily.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's him announcing it isn't, him releasing it. I don't think that will be, I don't know, man. It's funny because it makes you think if he's going to release something like that, is he going to stop posting on Truth Social? Is he only going to post to those APIs, the people who buy it? But then it's so strange because then all it takes also is one person to purchase the API and set up their own type of alert or announcement and get it out for free or get it out for cheaper for people, or just set a Twitter that also repeats those announcements too.
I'm sure that there will be licensing, terms and conditions that will prohibit someone from doing that. Obviously, it's not going to prevent people from doing it, but my suspicion is that the price point, because it's an institutional product,
right,
the price point's going to be expensive enough. It's not like what someone could do with like a UFC or a boxing pay-per-view. I think the price point would be way too high to justify that.
He's definitely marking it up. Definitely marking it up.
But and he'll sick like the FBI on you, like fast.
You can't share his data, but the president can share signals for some reason. Can sell signals, not even share. Sure, share and post on social media on Truth Social, but now you're putting a paywall.
I will say this, like, so this was during the when the Iran stuff was really like heating up. As someone that's deeply plugged in intraday to the order flow, what I will say is that there started to be patterns that popped up before, and I mean like anywhere from 10, 15 minutes to a minute or two before Trump made huge market moving announcements, there would be very clear order flow patterns showing up that someone knew exactly what was coming out. And when I say you can definitely tell, it was the exact same volume. Like people do not place orders for like 1,000 contracts, but it was like very specific. It was like 1,364 contracts, but like repeated like 10 times in a row, and it's like, okay, and right before the president says something market moving, yeah, okay. So the game is rigged. That doesn't mean that you can't get your piece of the pie, but there is definitely some games being played.
The game is rigged, I think, is the understatement of the century.
Hmm.
But listen, it's still doable.
Oh
Always
yeah,
doable.
yeah. There's the market's still inefficient enough that there is lots of opportunity.
Absolutely. Do you want to pull up your charts? Maybe go through some S&P levels that you're looking at today?
Yeah, so I'll be guys. I put this on my X, before we got on here. I've got nothing as far as good trades go today. I've got absolutely nothing. I don't think I have a directional edge here today whatsoever. And we can get into that. And I'll explain why. So what I'm looking at the S&P, and if we zoom out here a little bit, we can see here, and this is the CFD product that I'm looking at. We'll pull up perhaps a futures product as well, because they are slightly different. Notice the high here, and notice how the secondary high is lower. Okay,
Yep.
so futures contracts go through a period called rollover, where you go from a current contract to the next contract, and oftentimes there will be a gap in price between those contracts, and that is why when I pull up the actual futures, here we can see that the market looks very different. So I want to stay on the actual futures for a second here, because what everybody, including the CMT Association, which is the basically the self-regulated technical analyst association, what they put out was this, what they call the textbook ascending triangle in ES. And I think they would have to admit that this textbook ascending triangle is now morphed and can no longer be classified as such. However, this is just a note on technical trading patterns. When something is so obvious, right, that everyone can see it, and everyone on X that I follow that's a classical chartist has been taking a look at this ascending triangle, it just makes you wonder, if it's so obvious, is it actually going to happen? Because if everybody sees the same thing,
Yeah.
that crowds the opportunity out by definition. Okay, so anyway, the reason, whether you're looking at the CFD or the futures, the reason I'm not so excited about today is for a couple reasons. Number one, we're going to profile this entire sideways movement. Okay,
Nice.
and what you can see here, and it's going to be the same, very similar profile whether you're looking at an order flow platform or trading view. But what we can see here is this low volume area, right? So you can see where the volume in this profile visibly drops off, right? So we got a lot of volume here, and then drop off. Okay, so why is that important? It's important because in a low volume area, if the side that has to defend the area doesn't show up, we're going to get a very swift slice right through that. And we're likely going to go to the opposite side of the value range, which in the case of ES is roughly around 74.60 or so. And that is definitely a trade that is on the cards for today. If it wasn't Friday, if this was Thursday setting up, I'd be totally up for that short. But with options expiration today, I think the possibility for funny games being played, at least in the open, is very high. Okay, so that's one thing I'm looking for is how are we going to react in this low volume node. Now the other thing too is that if we take a look at the more recent auction that we've been negotiating here, which is kind of this sideways mess, pulling that up, you can see that we're well below the value area, of this consolidation here. Okay, so we also had a big move overnight. So whenever we have a big move overnight, the big question that I'm asking myself is, what was the reason for this move? Is it rebalancing? In other words, if we had a huge move up in the cash session, I could see people taking profits and we could get a little bit of a drift in Asia and in London. But that's not the case. That's not what happened here. What happened here is what's called an narrative-driven move. The sell-off was driven by a fundamental narrative, macro narrative, escalation in the Middle East. So when you have a narrative-driven movement, the follow-up question to ask is, okay, has that narrative been priced in? And in this case, the answer is we don't know. The reason we don't know is because we don't have a resolution to that narrative just yet. So that puts the potential for unexpected news events driving volatility to be quite high. So we've got the storm of options expiration, the fact that we're trading away from value and towards structural price action support, combined with the fact that we have a volatile situation in the Middle East, all that to me says, I don't know how to trade this from a directional perspective. The only setup that I would really consider would be a rally back towards that value area, and a failure to reclaim it could lead us to rolling over. Or if we start driving at these structural levels here and trap a lot of short sellers here. I think the only way that I would take trades today directionally, whether it's an ES, NQ, pretty much any market, because I've looked at probably over 200, 300 charts this morning. The only thing that I'd be looking for is trapped momentum.
How do you go through so many charts in the morning?
Well, I run screeners, and then I have quantitative tools at my disposal that can screen even those charts extremely quickly, and then it filters the best opportunities for me. So when I'm looking at trading stocks, I follow a top-down approach, right? So what that means is I start with the index. So in this case, right, ES, S&P. So if we take a look at the S&P here, for instance, that would be the index. I then start looking at sectors. Okay, so and I said this on X as well. Like, it's interesting to me is that financials are trading near their highs, right? Look at that, trading near the highs. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the potential for profit taking is definitely very high. Potential for building acceptance above here is very high. So now it's, okay, what names can we look at in that financial ETF, in that basket? We also have options expirations today, right? So there's going to be a lot of noise and activity that's going to take place around OPEX in the ETF as well. So, if I pull up one of the tickers I was looking at, just JP Morgan, we can see what we have. One of my favorite setups, which is a buildup of value below a previous structural swing high. This tells me that we're coiling and getting ready to break out, right? So I love this setup. I love this setup. This is one of my favorite momentum-based setups. Why? Because it's a seemingly value-based setup that can turn into momentum. I prefer buying as we're coming into structural support and then adding to the position as we get confirmation of momentum.
Awesome.
Right? So what I'm looking for now, and JPM is one of the tickers I am looking at today, is can we start building a bit of a range, bit of a micro range, at least on the very lower time frame charts that can lead to an intraday scalp on the stock? Very possible. Another ticker that everybody's going to be interested in is going to be Tesla and SpaceX. So here on the daily chart, Tesla, what do we see? We see that we're pulling back and we're going to gap down a little bit here. But when I profile, say, from the rally onward here, we can see that the structural low here aligns with a value area low as well. So I'd love to see, and this is a low volume node, so I'd love to see a push through those lows, maybe a failed attempt at breaking down, a recovery. Now, of course, is that going to happen in one day? Likely not, because from where we be gapping down, that's another 3.5% or so. But that's something that's a move on my radar. SpaceX obviously is something that will attract a lot of day trading activity today also. But yeah, generally speaking, the only types of setups I'm looking for is going to be trapped momentum. So no matter what chart you show me, I think my read is going to be the same. I want to see either buyers really go for it run out of steam and get trapped, fueling a short to the low, or the exact opposite. I want to see the market get so bearish on fundamental headlines that we run some lows stranded down there, and then there's going to be no choice but for the market to bounce sharply. Those are the only plays I'm interested in today.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Guys, great setup. Great setup. Yo, what's up, Marco? Good morning, brother. How are you? Matt, what's going on? Famous, good morning. Scott Riley saying gold just dipped, might see 3,900 by end of the week. It is end of the week, but nice to see how price lines up next week going to the last 2 months of the next quarter. Cool.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that for sure. Like, especially in the futures here, we can, like, as we mentioned, we lose this shelf here. It'll be very interesting to see whether there are going to be strong buyers stepping in. But here's the thing as well. Like, gold is a fascinating asset because people who buy and hold gold tend to not sell gold. So they tend to just hold it. So if we're talking about a stock market index or a stock even, yes, there are buy and hold investors, but I would put a lot less emphasis on in some cases in terms of looking back, far back and thinking whether or not the buyer that bought here is still in the stock. With gold, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the larger players who bought on that way up are still in gold. So I'd be very interested to see what it's going to look like when we dip into here, if we dip into there.
Awesome. What's up, Deidre, Yusuf? What's going on, guys? Good morning and welcome. If you guys got any questions, ticker recommendations, questions for Mr. Imre, please let us know in the chat. Have you been taking any trades on NASDAQ lately?
Yeah. I've got a little room with some traders, and yesterday, I typically don't trade NASDAQ as much, but yesterday was a killer day for NQ. I'm not, just to give you an idea of how little I trade NQ. I usually trade ES, and when I trade ES on my personal, I can get up to decent size. Like, I can get up to about 40 contracts ES on my personal. But usually, like, my starter position is going to be in like the 5 to 10 con range.
Okay.
So with NQ, what I said was very clearly, I'm not interested in being a momentum seller.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, I understand the big move to the was to the downside yesterday in NQ. But I said I'm not interested in being a momentum seller. What I wanted to do was in the morning by what was it, Thursday? Geez, this chart looks so ugly. In Thursday, I wanted to see sellers get trapped below here, right, and then buy here. Where I would consider being a seller would have been a little bit higher up. We didn't even get there, So I caught about 100 points on the upside there. But the funny part of the story is that I'm thinking here, okay, yeah, I'm building my starter position, forgetting the major volatility difference between NQ and ES. So I'm in for 10 contracts on NQ, and immediately, that thing is flying around 4 figures, and I'm like, geez. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's $100 a point, and we're moving, 15, 20 points in like a matter of seconds. So I had a little bit more concentrated risk on than I would have liked, and was able to trim it. But yeah, and NQ was, I obviously did not catch the best move of the day yesterday or even overnight. This is insane. That is actually ludicrous. But what do we have so far? Series of lower lows and lower highs. It's just structurally, and again, I posted this on X. I think it's tough to be very, very bearish NQ here in the short term, because if I'm profiling, this range, yes, we're below the value. Okay, yeah, we're slightly below the value area low here, and we do have structural support coming in, but I think this area here is going to be messy. If we slice right through it, okay, different story. I'd want to see value build. I want to see value build. I want to see attempts at breaking back in fail. Then I can start getting a little bit more aggressive on the downside. But I think the risk is skewing the other way, in my opinion.
Cool. Take a look at gold. Gold with a bit of a rip to the downside there in the past 30 minutes or so. finding some
That
volume.
is, nah, that is nothing.
What's that?
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's getting out of its overnight range. It did break the pre-market lows. Not a huge dip. Obviously, we didn't have any data or economic news to back it, but it's trying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. It is trying. I mean, it. Here's again. Here's the thing with gold. Like you never want to short into a hole, And I think if you're shorting gold right now, you're shorting into a hole. So does that mean gold can't go down another percent and a half, 2% today? Of course it can. It doesn't change the fact that I think, it's like it's the equivalent of running into traffic. Will you get to
Right.
the other side? Maybe. But you're still running through traffic to get there.
Yeah, no, we don't want to run through traffic, guys. We want to roll with traffic. I'd like to see, in my opinion, what I'm looking for right now in gold, if we are looking to trade the range, because we know we're not expecting that big of a move today, I would like to see us pull back towards 39.95, also that 4,000 area here on GC futures for maybe just a short-term short position to target the opening price. No major moves today, but just seeing we have broken previous day low. A lot of times there's stats backing things like that. When we break previous day low, the odds of us closing red are A, B, and C. So just some things to keep in mind. And again, just looking to trade the range, not looking to sell the lows. We don't want to sell lows. We want to sell high, buy low. S&P. S&P's in a bit of a tough point. So I'd want to see S&P come back to 75.48. 75.48, that is our area that was support yesterday. Gave us a great long position. And now it is, support yesterday gave us a long position the day prior. No, 2 days ago. Wow, Tuesday. This week's flying. So I'd want to see if we can hold that area now to the downside. Support becomes resistance. Oh, am I pressing things? Who knows?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
All right, so that was me. Love to hop on and CNQ -2. Yeah, right? Yo, Marco, if you want an invite, man, let us know. I'll send you an invite to the stream right now. You can come join us.
Yeah, bro. Come holler at us. I don't like being the guy that says, I don't see any good trades out there, but I genuinely just don't. Now,
Yeah.
that said, just to give you an insight on how I like to take risk, I like layups. Like if I don't, the moment I start trying to get fancy and I'm deep into an options chain trying to figure out how to get something out of it, like I pull myself back and I say this is stupid. No, I want to wait until it is so obvious to me where the opportunity is that it's going to be as stress-free a trade as possible.
Yeah.
I've got enough stress in my life. I don't need the markets adding to it. So this really means that I focus on quality over quantity. And I know this is the important thing. Like I know very clearly, I can articulate extremely clearly what my edge is or where my edges lie, depending on the market. And if I don't see an edge to express, then I'm just forcing myself to take a position when I don't have to.
Awesome. Yo, Marco, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll send you the link to join right now. Trading with Kev. I'll get that link ready. Awesome, man. Guys, we're getting a special surprise guest here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Marco trades completely different to how I trade. I
He's
think
gonna be
probably
like,
completely different to how you trade as well. And this is like the awesome thing is that it takes everybody to make a market. So just because I don't see anything setting up doesn't mean that Marco doesn't, right? And Marco's got an edge to express that's very different from mine. So it's completely different takes, completely different perspectives. The important thing, guys, is that you think critically and you think independently, right? There's nobody here that can trade exactly the same way that I can trade. I can't trade the exact same way that you trade. It's just information, it's perspective, it's a lens on the market, and then you have to be able to think critically and develop your own edge around whatever information it is you consume.
Yep, absolutely. That's right. And you know what it is? Every trader's different. Every trader has their own edge, has their own style. Some traders perform even better in market conditions where it's more range bound. They're expecting those small moves. They're in and out. Whereas other traders who are better in trending markets might be trying to force trades, force holding a trade, knowing that there is not going to be that continuation.
Yep, completely agreed. I'm looking at crypto and I never look at crypto. It tells you
How boring markets are today, right?
yeah, well, it's not that it's boring. It's just that we had a big move overnight into options expiration. The potential for continuation is there, but like it's a hard trade. I
Yeah,
think it's a hard trade. I smell a trap.
absolutely. Guys, we're going to bring Mr. Marco on. What's up, brother?
Hey,
What's up,
man.
guys? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thanks for having me on.
Bro, absolutely. Got a slight echo.
Do I?
Yeah. Am I tripping him right?
It's a little bit. I think it might just be the acoustics of the room though.
Gotcha.
Let me see. Maybe if I change my mic.
Possibly.
Yeah, it could be that your audio is coming in through the headphones, like, and you're not using the microphone as your output.
Is the mic quality bad or is it just an echo?
No, it's just an echo. It's not like it's brutal or
Yeah.
anything, though.
You know, we can make it work.
Yeah.
Apologies, guys. No, I don't know what it is. I have the correct mic and cam on.
No, see, now that I didn't catch.
Do you trade volatility at all, Kevin? Like, do you play straight vol at all?
With the VIX, I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't trade options on the VIX, but I 1,000% use it with my S&P and Nasdaq trading.
What about now?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's so much better. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
All good.
Awesome, man. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'd love to. How do I go about this? At the bottom here?
Yeah, on the bottom it should say present or invite. You hit present and then share full screen or share tab.
Okay, share screen. Sorry, guys. New platform for me over here. Let me get used to this. Okay. Am I good?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah,
There we
you're
go.
good.
Awesome. Yeah, like Emily was saying, everybody has a different edge, which is awesome. I love to hop on and just watch you guys break down charts because it's always interesting to me. And interesting in a way where it's funny that we trade differently. However, we're almost looking at the same thing sometimes. So it's cool to watch. But yeah, wild move on NQ, finally escaping this almost escaping this big range. I've been calling for June low for a bit. I've wanted June low to come, so that's what we're approaching right now. You can hop on the monthly and see this. So we're approaching June low. We're literally right there. I'm projecting this thing should break today. I'm looking for June low to get taken today. Now, will it? I've been wrong more than right lately, at least because of this nastiness, to say the least. But as for intraday, man, I hate to hop on the computer and look at NQ sitting at -2% for the day. It's not something that's ideal to day trade, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If there is a move that's going to occur, that's fine. It's not really a move I typically like to be in, solely off because, man, we're sitting at -2%. That's a big overnight move we've already had. Like Emery said too, if you hop on the intraday time frames, 5, 15 minute, this chart doesn't look pretty whatsoever. I captured a short yesterday. So I know, Emery, you're talking about catching this long bounce, which was nice after the lows went. I took a short up in this area up here. So just before the PM session started, I wrote that down for the afternoon. So that was a wild short, probably the trade of the week for me. But yeah, man, it looks like today's most likely. I know people that hop on streams don't like to hear this, but it's most likely going to be a flat day for myself.
Yep.
All right, I don't feel so bad anymore. That has been boring, but like it is what it is, and that again, that doesn't mean there is somebody smarter than me that's going to find a banger of a trade today.
Right.
But I always think of it this way: like my job is not to take trades. My job is to run a profitable business. And sometimes like I just don't see a high probability way that I can turn a profit today. And this is one of those days. But I also have a lot of options coming off today that I have to manage. So I will be trading. It's just not, I'm not coming up with an idea, a thesis where I'm trying to express a view on making money. It's mostly going to be hedging the options exposure I have coming off.
And yeah, even gold. I know you guys are chatting about gold. This thing, I've been wanting 30, well, to snap through 4,000, which we did a while ago, but to kind of clear these lows on the left-hand side, I've been waiting for as well. And I don't know, something's telling me I want some big buyers to step in below these lows and this thing to crawl its way back to 6,000, which would be awesome. But that's what I want to kind of position myself for long term. I'm not in no way going to try and call a bottom because I don't know where this thing could head to, maybe 35. I don't know. But when that bottom does come in and I start seeing some bullish PA, I'd love to try and ride some positions up to the upside. That's the way I'm kind of positioning myself long term on gold, at least.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, long-term wise, this is gold's giving people phenomenal areas to start adding to a long-term position. 30% off all-time highs. Historically, I keep coming back to it. Historically, gold has hit 50% from all-time highs and still made its way back to those highs again and then some. So it really is a great buy the dip opportunity versus people that as soon as headlines start wailing, gold's at all-time highs and retail's diving in last minute. Don't be that person. Be ahead of that curve.
I remember actually when we were having this parabolic bull run and when we cleared 5,000 and dipped into the mid 5,000s, I had a lot of people messaging me saying, "Oh my God, should I buy gold right now? Should I buy gold right now?" And that was kind of my my signal. Yeah, maybe this bull run's gonna come to an end and we're gonna see a relief to the downside, which we ended up getting. So. But yeah, like you said, I actually never really measured it, but we're looking at over a 30% drop from all-time highs, which is pretty crazy.
Not only
that's
that,
like some crypto stuff.
But like if you look at if you pull up a monthly on gold and then you look at gold on a logarithmic scale, which is going to adjust for the difference in percentage rallies. So if you hover your mouse over the bottom right hand corner of the chart. Yeah, and you see that so those buttons that floated up just a little bit higher.
Oh, here.
Yeah, click on L. So that's going to put things into perspective and basically smooth out the price difference. So now if you zoom all the way back and you look at historically what corrections have been like in gold, this is nothing.
73% here. You're looking at 45% here. Yeah, so it is crazy. When you use this, I've never used this, Emery. So this is a wicked way to view the chart.
So when you're looking at a market that like has gone from, I don't know, let's say like $100, like a stock that's gone from $100 to like $3,000, or Bitcoin's a perfect example. You want to use log scale to adjust for the differences in percentage, whereas arithmetic is just going to look at purely the the rise in price relative to where we were before.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. That's smart. I like that. But yeah, talking about those gold pullbacks, this is from obviously a long time ago, but yeah, all the other corrections, we're looking mid 40s here, and we've dropped 30% here. So yeah, where can this thing bottom out? I don't know. Could we even get back into the 2000s? Who knows?
That would be crazy.
That would be insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and then coming back to the fundamental drivers, what would that take? Right. So what that would take is and here's the ironic thing with gold. A lot of people see gold as a safe haven, and it does play that role from time to time. A lot of people see it as an inflationary hedge. I think there are better inflationary hedges out there, but the thing with gold is that because it's traded against the dollar, for gold to really crash that much that quickly, what would that mean for the dollar? It would mean an absolutely surging dollar. And under what fundamental circumstances could we see that? Not good ones, let me tell you. Not good ones. They all involve really nasty things happening in the world, and followed by a serious amount of fiscal tightening.
Would you say yourself you're also long-term bearish on the dollar as well?
Long term, I think it's complicated in the sense that there's always going to be monetary easing long term with gold. Sorry, with any fiat currency. So long, I think that the de-dollarization process has started. Is the dollar going to be the reserve currency still by the end of my lifetime? I have no idea. I wouldn't bet on it necessarily, but I think that it's going to be hard to displace the king. Global trade is so reliant on the dollar, and there are so many structural mechanisms in place in terms of worldwide banking that make it very difficult to de-dollarize. So the thing with the dollar is that there's always going to be more supply of dollars coming in. There's going to be more money printing, which in theory should devalue the dollar. But it's like, okay, relative to what? Relative to what? If other countries start experiencing certain certain fiscal strains and they need to ease even more than the US does, the dollar could still strengthen relative to those currencies. So I think the most realistic scenario is that we're going to get wide ranges in the dollar spanning decades. And do I think that we're due for a bit of a drop in the dollar? Yeah, I do personally. I think that we're going to see some dollar weakness over the coming years. And I'm looking at this in terms of years, not in terms of weeks or months. But a complete collapse in the dollar would, in my opinion, probably spell the end of Western civilization as we know it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, to be honest. But yeah, I think dollar down a bit, gold up kind of makes sense to me. That's what I'm going to stick with for now. I would like to see gold bottom out in the mid threes, and then we're going to see that bullish rally back up to the mid fives, up to the 6K. That would be wicked to see. Personally, I'll probably be in some long-term positions myself, so we'll see how that plays out. Also, I don't know if there's any crypto guys in here, but the crypto charts ain't looking too pretty for me right now.
I'm with you.
I'm looking at some heavy downside on BTC, to be honest. I got 49K I've been talking about. For the people in my streams, I've been yelling it for a minute. When we were up here in the 90s, when we had this pullback into the 80, I told everybody we'll be looking at 49K. So we're making our way back down there. We're kind of slowing down as we trade into these lows on the left-hand side, but 49K remains my target on BTC for sure. So yeah, definitely going to remain bearish for now. And any bullish moves you see on these daily charts, these weekly charts, is definitely going to be fade those into that bearish bias.
I agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. The issue I have with crypto, it's not philosophical, it's mechanical. What I mean by that is it's very difficult for institutions to get exposure to crypto. It's really freaking hard because the thing with stocks and the reason institutions can accumulate positions in stocks over time or bonds, which are like super, super, super liquid, right? It's that there are going to be market makers with tremendous inventory, of those stocks. There are the dark pools that help smooth out institutional presence in the market. But with Bitcoin, I mean, sure, are there so-called dark pools of Bitcoin? Yes, but it's so difficult to make a market for a serious institutional player. And I just fundamentally see that as a structural issue that makes Bitcoin very difficult to trade. Now, does it need, when I say difficult to trade, I mean from the institutional perspective. Does that mean that we're not going to go ripping higher at some point? No. Am I going to be a big buyer at 40? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. When I look at the reward to risk of crypto, I think long term it skews incredibly favorably.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
Awesome. We got a question in the chat, guys. What do you guys think of silver on a long-term perspective?
So everyone got excited with silver, right? And why did they get excited with silver? It's because it's the same shit with crypto. When Bitcoin starts ripping, the Bitcoin trade gets crowded and everybody's going to start piling into alts, right? So that's kind of what happened. It's not the perfect metaphor, but it's pretty on the money here. What happened here with silver is that the gold trade got super crowded. Silver's even far more illiquid than gold. And silver is personally one of my hardest or one of my most traumatic trades of all time. Like I think Kevin showed this trade before. I was up 7 figures on a very small silver position, options position, and I couldn't get out of it because the market was so liquid. But anyway, so with silver, it's I don't know. From an investment perspective, I would much rather own gold every single time.
Yeah.
I think the market for silver is far less liquid. I think it's far more of an emotional market. But if you look again at silver and you zoom out long term, it took silver a really long time to make a new all-time high. It's and I don't think this is going to be any different. So could I see personally silver coming back to find support at just under $50? Sure. Could I also see support going down at 2150 to 1450? Also, absolutely, I have no issue with that. So silver, I'm not nearly as bullish on long term as gold.
Okay. Now, what about, this is sort of breaking down multiple areas into one, the AI industry, semiconductors, they are big consumers of silver. Do you think that that's going to make an impact as well? Not
No,
so much.
I don't. The industrial application of silver, it's just not going to be. I don't think that's going to be a fundamental driver. No, not a significant one.
Cool.
Okay, boys, I gotta hop off, but I do appreciate you guys having me on. We'll definitely do this more often. Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
Thanks, Marco. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We'll talk soon, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy, Marco. Be
See you,
well.
man.
Yes, you too. Ciao, guys. Have a good weekend.
See you, man.
Peace.
So, like, yes, I do think there is that structural demand for silver, and I think silver's cost efficiency is going to do a lot for it. But yeah, the issue, right? I mean, if you want to look at it from a pure supply demand perspective, and the fact that the silver supply chain is so less, I guess the word you could use is elastic relative to other conductors. Yes, and is it difficult to substitute other conductors for silver? I believe copper is a reasonable alternative, but I'm not enough of a scientist to have looked into this deeply. But I think fundamentally, one of the larger issues with silver is going to be the illiquidity of it. So for a market to go up, there has to be people willing to sell to that buyer, right? And I think we're going to need to see a technical rebalancing here of silver before we see that long-term bull run again. But even in a big bull run, I think in the long term, gold outpaces it.
Okay.
Just my 2 cents. I'm also speaking from a place of trauma. I've got my scars with silver. So the one time in my career I seriously decided to trade silver, it doesn't work out as well as I wanted it to. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But if you're asking me, would I rather own gold or silver? I'd rather own gold all day.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Even longevity wise, gold has been the go-to over a long time. What other markets, man? What about giving us some insight? Do you use the VIX? I know you asked me earlier about the volatility index. Do you use the VIX when you're trading S&P?
Yeah, 100%, right? Like basically I'm a dealer of volatility. That's effectively the trade that I place. Do I directly trade the VIX at times? Yes, I do. But that is for very speculative short-term trading, not for anything longer term. With VIX, I'm never buying or selling momentum in the VIX. So if the VIX is rising, I'm not buying vol. I'm always looking to fade vol. So if I trade the VIX, I'm always short vol. Always short vol. So what I love to see is a huge surge in the VIX. And I can fade that, that spike in the VIX.
Nice. John, I'm gonna shoot you. Drop a message in general. I'm gonna shoot you the link to our Discord community. He said he won the giveaway yesterday, but hasn't received an email yet. You should have. I thought they took care of that, but like I said, sometimes things fall through the cracks. So I will get you that link right now. Join the community. Drop a message in main chat, and then I'll connect you with some of our guys. And everybody, guys, you can all join our free community. We want you to. It's Discord. Drop some screenshots, share your charts, share how you use market as well. Let's bring market back up for a moment. Unless you want to
Yeah,
go
we got
continue
me.
with VIX.
Sorry, Kevin.
No, I was
I
saying
lost you.
let's pull up market again unless you want to continue on VIX.
No, that's it. That's it for the VIX. I mean, like,
Cool.
if there's anyone here that's an options trader and wants to talk playing the VIX, we can talk. But otherwise, I think that's going to be a pretty niche topic here. I'm not seeing too much like news coming in short term, but one thing that I really did want to take a look at is the economy and interest rate trackers here, which are two of the views that I look at the most, to be honest, on Terminal. So what we can see here, right, is that the inflation reading here has ticked down a little bit on CPI. We can see that PCE remains elevated, but PPI also starting to turn down. So these are all things that traders have been taking into consideration when we look at the interest rate tracker in terms of what we are looking for going forwards. So in July, at the end of the month, we're not really going to get a rate change, but we are going to get Warsh's second press conference. And it's going to be very interesting to see there what his tune is going to be like. He has stressed over and over again that the Fed remains independent and that his policy guidance will not be affected by the president. We'll see how true that is. But as we're looking into September, the odds of an increase are still far higher than that of a cut. And here's the thing: if you take a look, I'm just going to hop over to TradingView for 1 second. If you take a look at the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is effectively what I think the world is charging America for payment on the debt that it takes on, right? And we can see that 10-year yields are at 4.5%, and that is a little bit above where the market is right now. So that's just something to take into consideration. There is never a long-term divergence between where the market believes rates should be and where the Fed has rates. So the Fed has historically always followed the market. So I still think it's very likely we are going to get that 125 basis points increase. Whether it's going to come in September or in October, I don't know. But I think that the market, the story is going to be how soon can the market price that in and how quickly can it price it in.
Right. That'd be big. That'd be big. What Fed Watch? What are we looking at under Fed Watch right now? I think it did decrease since the last CPI report, but now you still do think we're going to get a hike this year?
I mean it's one it's one data point, right? So I think that's one data point that we've gotten. Did the market breathe a sigh of relief? Yeah, sure. But what do we have right now? We have oil getting stranded in the strait again.
Right.
So you have to think like it's not a linear line that you can draw from one cooler CPI report to no rate hikes. That the Fed's going to be sticking to its most tried and true line, which is we're going to be data dependent, and we're going to have to wait to see how this volatility is going to start affecting things. That's pretty I don't want to say straightforward, but that's pretty much the variables to be looking at today, I would say.
Okay, cool. What's up, YDV? Says, what path would you recommend to someone who wants to learn options from scratch? That's a good question.
Yeah, so I think Tasty Trade has Tasty Trade is a retail brokerage platform, and not just retail. I actually run institutional accounts off of Tasty Trade as well. Tasty Trade is, in my opinion, like the leader in terms of retail options education. Here's the thing with options. You have to start, like if you learn a strategy in options, you're doing it absolutely the wrong way. There's no such thing as learning a strategy with options. What you have to do is learn what options actually are. And once you learn what options actually are and how they're priced, then you can start learning different strategies. The reason options trading is far superior to any other kind of trading, and it doesn't even come close, is because I can control how I make money as an options trader. If you're trading gold, and let's say you're long or short, let's say you're short gold right now, your bet is that the price of gold is going to drop to Y before it goes up to X and hits your stop. I can make money on gold regardless of whether gold goes up and down. I can make money if gold does nothing. I can make money if gold goes up and goes down. I can make money if gold goes up tomorrow and then crashes next week. I can make money however I want to make money. So in spot trading, or if you're trading the underlying market, your curve, you don't have a curve with your P&L. It's very linear. It's flat. It's tied directly to the movement of the underlying asset. Options are three-dimensional. You can literally bend time and price to however you want to make money. So you have so much more flexibility in terms of how you want to express an idea. So I think of trading regularly, as I call it. That's like playing tic-tac-toe or checkers, and options is chess, or like 3D chess. It is definitely the more advanced way to trade, but it's more advanced for a reason. With that complexity comes a lot of advantages. You trade some options, right, Kevin? Every now and then? No,
Not in a
not really?
long time. No, mainly futures.
Yeah, and if you, I will say this though, if you are trading stocks and you're not using options, you're doing it wrong. There's zero reason to not trade stocks using options. Like it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't use options.
Now, let me ask you. So some people might be confused. What's the difference between stocks and futures? Why do futures have 23 hours of price action? Stocks only have 6.5, especially
That's
when
changing.
comparing.
That's changing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard. When is that supposed to come out?
I'm not sure exactly when, but it's gonna be very interesting. So stocks will move to basically what, a 23-hour trading cycle as well, I think.
That's crazy.
Something like that. But I think, what is the reason for that? I think it's primarily to allow people to hedge in overnight trading. I think obviously the retail crowd is going to run with that and turn it into a speculation machine, into another casino. But the purpose really on the more institutional side is to allow for more effective hedging and smoothing of price.
Okay, cool. Now, I know they're bringing the stock market more 23 hours a day. That is including the options, right? I would assume so.
I'm actually not 100% sure, but I would assume so as well. Yeah.
Because I remember I thought so. I was like, oh, I'm sure it will. But then I remember reading it, and you always have to be so precise with what they're saying because they like to be tricky with how they word stuff. And they were like, stock trading will be around 23 hours a day. But they didn't mention anything about options trading. But obviously, options are the underlying asset. So usually they do go hand in hand. But I don't know. And also, here's a great question for you. I'm glad you're here for this episode and this question. Will institutions start trading that 23-hour window, or are they going to stick with their routine that they've had for years on years?
No, they'll definitely be more active. The difference in liquidity, there's going to be a difference in liquidity overnight, obviously, in terms of active trade. But yeah, I think institutions will be quite active in the overnight market.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be primarily algorithmically driven, and I
Yeah.
think the incentive from the institutional side is to try to smooth out price and prevent large overnight swings.
Yep. Okay, cool. So what was I gonna say? So what about the New York session, right? We always wait for New York session, volume comes in. Do you think that's gonna sort of fade out too, or you think we're still gonna get that extra pump of volume compared to the overnight?
No, I think New York will still be king. Now, like there are reasons to trade in a lower volume environment.
Yeah.
And historically speaking, statistically speaking, the biggest ranges, even in ES or NQ, do happen in the overnight market. But there are disadvantages to trading in the overnight as well. It's obviously a slower market most of the time, and lower volume can make for cleaner technical movements, which is why I think a lot of people, retail technical traders, do have a good time trading Asia or London in ESNQ. I personally don't. Like, I need a lot of volume. I need a lot of liquidity in order to be able to do business effectively. I don't think that's going to change with a shift to a 23-hour stock market. I think the cash session will still be king.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. It's great. It's going to be amazing. But again, institutions, they have a schedule. They don't want to be like, okay, yeah, now let me go travel to the city at 1 in the morning instead of when I was going at 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean I think the trading will be largely algorithmic on
Okay.
the institutional side. So it'll just be robots doing robot things, which is like I said, trying to smooth price as much as possible.
Yep. Awesome, man. Do you mind covering gold one more time? We had a member join a little late.
Yeah,
He was asking.
let's do it.
Sweet.
All right. Long story short, I don't like gold today, but so we'll go top down, right? So top down, I think this is kind of the range that we're negotiating right now in gold, and I think that makes gold a little bit tricky to trade, because if you're shorting towards the bottom end of this range. And again, could we get a 2% move lower today? 100% yes. 100% yes. But I'd be much more comfortable shorting, some kind of trap in terms of buyers rather than shorting just the pure momentum. So if we get a rally, I'd love to look at potentially fading that rally. But again, we're in what I think is more likely than not a pretty choppy zone. So I'd be very wary of shorting a momentum break of these lows. I think the potential for a trap is very high there. I'd be much more willing to actually look for trap sellers if I want to scalp gold today. I'd be much more inclined to look for trap sellers and look for a bit of a counter trend movement higher. Otherwise, I think the zone you identified, Kev, like I think it was probably up here closer, just above 4,000s, right?
Yep.
I think that's probably going to be a decent area to look for some additional supply as well.
Yep. Exactly. So just trading the range, right? We're not looking for a breakout trade or here or a breakdown trade. We're looking for markets to pull back, stay within this confined range gold is giving us, and take it from there.
Yeah, and if you are trading today, be very quick on your entries and exits. That's I'll say is the potential for an extended run there, 100%, 100%. But I think on a day like today, big move overnight, coming into options expiration, possibility for unexpected headlines regarding tensions in the Middle East. Whew. Yeah, like I would be very quick on entries and exits.
Cool. Great insights, guys. Great insights. Got to be able to recognize the days that are in your favor that you should be holding and the days going against you that you have to be looking for those ranges. ES making another new low of day right now. I believe the NASDAQ is as well. Yeah, this overnight session chugging along to the downside. I would love to see a spike at market open. We have 2 minutes before the New York session opens. Love to see a spike. S&P, I would like to see it come up near 75.20 on our daily volume profile. We have a significant low volume imbalance right there. And it does mark as the top of our current range, right? So if we're range trading, we want to find those highs. We want to find those lows and take advantage of them. NQ's already moving. Yep. We got a minute 37 for New York session to open. Do you have any tips or tricks on how you like to use the VIX?
Yeah, so with the VIX, the most important thing is understanding historically where we are relative to prior periods in time. So I think what I like to do is take a look at a couple of simple moving averages, right? So I think it's worth looking at what the last week has been doing, so you can throw a very short-term 5-day period on there.
Okay.
And then I can look at something a little bit longer. So the average trading month has just about 22 trading days in it, and you can see right now that we're above historical averages, fairly short term, that is, right? Now, the last time that we got what I would call a significant spike in the VIX was on June 10th, right? So it's been over a month since we've gotten that spike. In July, like last week, we tried to get above, 19? Failed to do so. We're at 19 right now. Now you'll notice, how many days does the VIX actually hold at its highs? Not that many.
Right.
Looking at the recent past, we have 1, maybe 2, 3 days where after VIX spike, the VIX is just held at its highs. So that's what I mean. I'm looking to fade that volatility, the volatility spike here, and see if we can get actually a decrease in vol. But is this the high for the day in the VIX? I'm not sure. I would say probably not, but let's wait and see.
Okay. Awesome,
So
man.
looking at the S&P, right, opening up again, also below its fairly short-term averages here.
Yeah.
That is an ugly gap down, to put things in
To
perspective,
say the least.
to say the least, right? Yeah.
That is something, man. Yeah, look at that 15-minute, 30-minute, all these time frames diving right now. But guys, what do we do? What do we not do? We don't sell lows. VIX is continuing higher at the moment, so it is still short-term confirming that downtrend, but I'd like to see a pullback. I don't like selling lows. What about you?
No. It's that selling, right? You don't want to sell into a hole. You don't want to sell into a hole. But if we can see the VIX starting to break below its 5 and 21 periods, that to me would be an interesting signal that maybe we're getting some exhaustion as far as short-term selling goes. Looking at the Qs here, obviously we're going to get that big gap down on the open as well. And looking at the Qs, I mean, it's very, very interesting to me. We're pressuring that low as well.
Yeah.
It's not something necessarily that I want to be shorting into for sure.
No, definitely not. And let it play out, guys. I always remind people, like, there are people with trading strategies that require them to wait 15 minutes, 30 minutes for that first 30-minute opening range. Even people that use an initial balance strategy, right? You let the first hour play out and see how we react. So if people are able to be that patient, what makes you think that you have to jump in a trade as soon as the market opens? Let things play out. Just like Noab says, let the dust settle. Don't force any trades. Let it play out. Let it come to us. Give us a proper setup. Do your pre-market preparation. Big fan, man, of telling traders, get used to giving yourself 5-10 minutes before you trade. Do your analysis. Don't have a bias when you're doing analysis. Have a clear mind. You're reading the charts and you're listening to the charts. You're not forcing trades at that point. You're breaking it down. Yes, is struggling the moment of 74.90. 74.90. But I just hate selling lows, man.
Yeah, so I completely agree. It's when you're down like 90 points plus on the open, going with that momentum, I think is a low expected value play.
Yeah. And again, guess what? It plays out. It plays out. You wait for the next setup. Markets are going to give you another opportunity. If you think markets are just going to move without you and never give you a pullback, I got a little wake-up call for you. It will.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I always ask myself is the trade that I'm taking today the best setup of the day, and going with downside momentum after we've already had a large overnight sell-off is probably not the best trade of the day.
There you go. Very cool. There we go. New low day on the S&P right there. NASDAQ, not yet. SpaceX, man. SpaceX really taking a topple, coming down to earth at 125 right now. That's definitely
we had a
helping
big
drive this.
big gap down.
That is wild. Is that 132? Man, I've been saying SpaceX to 100 before it IPO'd. So we're getting there.
Yeah, here's my issue with SpaceX. I have no idea what fair value is. Like I don't know. I don't know. None of the valuations make sense.
Do you look at things like obviously revenue, their market cap? Obviously, they had a market cap of 2.8 trillion at some point when they were at those $200 highs. Now, obviously, way off of that. I think it is becoming more of a valued area right now where it should be down here. It should not be somewhere high. But it is SpaceX, right? There's no other company that's doing that extra step when it comes to space other than maybe NASA. Or what was the other one? Not Virgin Mobile. What was the other flight?
Blue Horizon or something? Are you talking about Bezos' one?
Oh yeah, Bezos has one. But no, there's no, my goodness. Oh, that's gonna. It was like a meme coin last year. Blue Origin. Yeah, maybe it was Blue Origin.
Blue Origin. Thanks, man. Yeah, but the thing, right, is Here's the thing with stocks, and this is the fascinating intersection of fundamental psychology and technical analysis. The fundamental story only matters so long as people think it matters. Right. So in the long term, if your investing horizon is measured in decades, not months or even years, then the fundamental picture and things like PE ratios and market capitalization and balance sheets and financials and revenue and product development and R&D spend, all those things matter tremendously.
Yeah.
If your horizon is shorter than that, which for many people it is, then it's going to be, I would say, a backdrop more so relative to the technicals. And with single name stocks, what's going to be a primary driver for the price action is really going to be who is playing in that market today. What does the liquidity look like, right? So in a blue chip, that's going to be very, very different from something like, well, frankly, something like SpaceX.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Getting a pullback here. See, we come back to a good area on the S&P. We're at just such extremes right now. We got to remember it's monthly options expiration, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So that's
sorry, no, it's weekly.
a week. Oh, okay. So weekly, not as volatile as like a monthly or a quad witching, but still going
every Friday. Every Friday we've got OpEx, but yeah, it's I think this is a significant Friday. Just looking at where the open interest has been clustered, where we've seen market makers forced to scramble to basically hedge positions in a negative gamma regime, where we've had institutions starting to buy protection for the downside as well.
Yep. How do you value tech companies today? I feel like it's so bloated to prop the valuation.
Yeah, I have no idea. I genuinely don't know. I don't think traditional valuation metrics make sense in today's world, especially with AI. Like it makes absolutely no sense. So what you're really buying is the story. The story
Right.
that change is going to be truly almost on the equivalent of a new industrial age, right? And I remain skeptical that the pricing reflects the true current capability of AI. So, of course, markets are future discounting mechanisms, so they're looking ahead. It's why Uber was a decent run up for a while, even though it wasn't turning a profit. Same thing with back when Meta used to be Facebook in the good old days. So, it's the valuation doesn't need to make sense for the market to go up. Right, but eventually the market will be forced to reckon with where those valuations sit when monetary policy has to undergo a significant shift. That's when things get repriced.
Awesome. Yo, Lisa, 8-1 risk to reward on the Nasdaq.
Beautiful trade.
Dang. What a trade. Great job. Well done. Well done. Really a whole lot of nothing in these markets right now. Strong momentum to the downside so far. Would definitely not be quick to fight that. Gotta think.
Oh goodness, no. You want to see
Yeah,
you really
right.
want to see the trap. You want to see evidence of traders getting trapped.
Oh, is gold pulling back? Ooh, gold's hitting my area of interest. I was looking for possible shorts on gold up here. Let's see. That was a big pump. Look at gold. You see that?
Yep.
It said, yo, I forgot my wallet at home. I'll be right back. I forgot everybody's stop losses. My bad.
So this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to short into that hole.
Yep.
You do not want to short into that hole. So this is really interesting because now I'm going to be taking a look at equity indices, right? And seeing, okay, we have something similar. But is this an area where we've had prior supply? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Yeah. So now we're seeing some signs of life. I don't think this is where you want to jump in and buy the market blindly either. It's going to take some time, I think, to determine whether or not there's a trap forming down here.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
So remember what we were saying about the VIX, right? Still holding strong here. Starting to break below that 5 period.
Yep, there goes ES. Nice reversal off the lows. Why we don't sell lows, ladies and gentlemen. No, sir. Gold is interesting to me right here, though. Gold is just blowing funded accounts today. Bros, no joke. No joke. You know what? That's what this price action entails, right? Poor price action, low volume. It's going to have those crazy moves now and then that catches people by surprise. People go, how the hell do I trade this? What am I doing? Let's see. Let's see. Don't buy lows. Don't sell lows. Just be patient. Let markets knows. I'd like to look for possible shorts on gold if it could pull back towards that 39.95 again.
Yeah, that's
Stop price.
I don't know. I'm not in a hurry to be shorting gold, to be honest with you.
No.
Not yet.
We'll see. We'll see. Let markets play out, guys. Remember, it's only been 11 minutes into New York session open. 15 minutes, got 3 minutes left in it as well.
I'd be more inclined to be a seller closer to 30.
Where 40-30?
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I think this is a very reasonable fade from the highs, but again, like, is this what I would call the layup? No, not necessarily.
Got you. Yo, ES and NQ, man, they cannot catch a bid. Are you in buy? No, I'm not in anything right now. I was considering some gold shorts. Just the way the dollar has also been grinding higher. We pulled back. I was looking at 4,000 as a level. We rejected off 4,007 after sweeping a couple highs. We'll see.
Yep, we will see.
S&P, NASDAQ, new low of day. S&P close to new low of day. Did not make it just yet. But a lot of selling in tech right now. You think SpaceX has a lot to do with this selling pressure we're seeing on NASDAQ? We're obviously partial, not one company.
Partially. I think more so, like, if we take a look at what's going on today, and we see, that is a lot of red, man. That is a lot of red.
Yeah, look at that.
So you look at the Adobe's up actually a little bit, which is interesting.
Yeah, what's your thoughts? I'm gonna ask you this. Good, I'm glad you brought that up. What are your thoughts on Adobe, right? Isn't Adobe mainly an editing platform, or what more about them is there? Because with AI, with all these new editing platforms, CapCut, even all these social medias now have their own editing platforms. Instagram has edits. Is Adobe taking this big of a hit because of AI, because of all these new editing tools that are also much cheaper and easier to use?
So I think that the price action certainly reflects that, right?
Yeah.
So I'll full disclosure, like I've been slowly building a longer position in Adobe, so I'm talking my book here. But I think that the company still has a significant future in terms of adapting to this changing environment. I can't talk too much more on this just because I don't know if long story short, this I can say. I have a friend who sold a company to Adobe for a very, very lucrative exit, and I've been talking to him a little bit and getting his thoughts on where the company is heading strategically over time. So again, I don't want to get too much into that, but Adobe is something I'm going to talk my book here. Like I've got a position,
Okay.
and I'm holding it for the long term.
Very good. Very good. You guys hear that? That was complete financial advice from Imre, full port Adobe.
But yeah, I would agree with your assessment that sell-off is exactly what the market's been pricing in.
Yep. Awesome, man. Awesome. What's up, Adam? Adam says absolutely 40-30 is a supply zone on gold, I would assume. Yeah, 40-30.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. I see that for sure. Area where price consolidated. We got a strong move to the downside. Yep. It's a good point. S&P chopping away like it's trying to create a barcode. Thanks. Thanks. I sold my wife's jewelry now and I get odd into Adobe. Good. That's what Imre told you to do.
100%.
No, that's great. That's
Be my exit liquidity, somebody.
Yeah, Imre's hyping it up just so he could try to exit. That's great. Gold on a bit of a tear to the downside. Nothing crazy. S&P bouncing between 74.73 and 74.90 right now. It's almost a 20-point range that we're just rejecting high, rejecting low, rejecting high, rejecting low.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just pulling up some other analytics here that I'm looking at on ES.
Cool.
I don't see evidence of a trap yet, but it's mounting. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I am not interested yet, but if we can get above 74.90 in ES, I think we're going to get a rip higher.
Okay, above 74.90.
Yeah. If we could start holding above 74.90.
Yep, I have the same spot. I have 74.96. Strong rip, like you said. I'd love to see us come back to 75.45.
That's asking for a lot. That's asking for a lot. I'd be thrilled with a move to 75.04.
Okay.
05. Yeah.
Are you looking for any positioning at that point?
I'd be looking to fade strength into the 20s.
Okay. Very cool.
So here's that 90. I'm just looking very closely at the tape now. Yeah.
Some straight up price action. I'm 7,500. Some passive sellers sitting up there. Let's see. Let's see. Let markets play out, guys. Never feel the need that you got to force markets. You got to make it happen. I move markets. I know what's going to happen. We can't go any lower than this. I got to buy. Follow the trend. Let candles close. Be patient. Fundamentals today. You want to pull up market and give us a quick little overview on what's fundamentally driving us here on gold and the S&P?
Yeah. So, so frankly, there's nothing new that's come out as far as news goes, right? So this is more of a technical repositioning right now. Same with gold, and it's yeah. I don't think we've had any breaking news or anything like that yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So this to me is a crucial moment in ES here. If we can't hold literally where we are right now and we start dropping back below 90, then I'd say buyers had their chance and they dropped the ball, they fumbled it. But we are holding so far.
Yep. Getting a little weakness on the dollar. Nothing crazy. Dollar's coming to the bottom of its current range right now. If we're looking at the 5-minute there. But we'll see. Let's see. ES really trying to climb through. It's got 5 points away. I do believe it's going to make that run towards 7,500.
Yeah. I am in a bit of a trade here. I'm moving my stops up now. So that 90 was that level I was looking for. We got that breakout. I'm gonna trail my stop to 92.50.
Awesome. There we go. There we go. Big money Imre over here, man, locking it in.
This is pretty. What have I locked in? I've locked in for a whopping total of $1,400 if I get stopped out. So not going to be the most exciting day, but just punting a little bit here.
Oil pumping. Yeah, let's take a look at oil.
Oh no, sorry. I was punting on my.
Oh no, you're good. No, somebody in the comments said oil pumping.
Oil is pumping. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. By the way, I'm moving my stop higher now to 74.95.
Awesome. We're getting Usman says we're getting Imre for Freaky Friday. That is for sure. I know he told me he was going to come shirtless today. I'm very disappointed.
Let's see.
Gold pushing back into that area. Dollar is continuing to move lower at the moment.
Yeah, gold breaking out. Yeah, so that run in, I think that's it for the S&P. I'm probably going to get ticked on my trailer here. But I'll take the... Oh, still alive. Yeah, with gold, I this just is not enough of a premium for me to be a buyer. I don't want to see us to see us head a little bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I want to see us move lower on gold. So we'll see, man. We'll flip this coin. But listen, man, I'm leaving it alone. I'm not forcing anything. We're not making trades where we don't see trades.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is just a chop fest here.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, I'm moving my stop ever so slightly higher on S&P. I'm at 96 right now.
Where'd you enter? We went long?
Yeah, right at 90. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just that. So what was I seeing there? I was seeing a cluster of buyers that had previously stepped in aggressively, right? So stepping in, trying to lift the offer, got a little bit trapped, but sellers couldn't really make any headway. So we had sellers trapped, in the high 70s to low 70s, and then we had buyers trapped going up to 90. So a break above 90, was going to lead to a pop in momentum, right? So just playing that momentum pop. Locking my stop up even further now, just below 7,500. I'm at 74.99, so that's 9 points. I do have a limit at 75.04, but I am happy to keep raising that limit. The 75.04 is the full session VWAP currently.
Cool. Nice. So that's where that 74.90, 74.96 came from.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm just going to raise my limit. I'm going to trail my stop up a little bit further now to 75.01.
Nice. There we go. Good job, Imre.
Hit the overnight VWAP, trailing my stop a lot more aggressively now to 75.02. If we can hold above the overnight or the full session VWAP, which we're trying to do right now, then we'll be in good shape. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I don't want to just limit out of the position, nor do I want to take a market sell and close. So I'm trailing my stop to just above that VWAP, expecting it to get taken out. So now that's at 04 is the stop. And now I'm moving it even higher to 05.
Okay.
So I'm looking to get stopped out of the trade. I want to get stopped out for a profit. I'm just systematically trailing that stop higher, following the flow. So I'm now moving it to 75.0575, and there we go. Got taken out. There we go. 15 points in a couple minutes.
Bang! That's how Imre does things around here.
Not bad.
That is great. Great job, man. Let me get that round of applause going for you. Beautiful. And good buying volume. Gold.
Yeah, so that's what I call a layup. Like that trade was a layup. And again, the thesis for it is just really straightforward. If I'm seeing a lot of buyers clustering at a level, and we take out that level, I'm expecting that momentum to continue.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm going to take a light gold short here. It's rejecting the area that I had from my pre-market. And guess what? If it fails, we know how to manage our risk. So I'm cool if it loses. I'm cool if it wins. I am taking a very small, show you guys real quick. We had that crazy pump up. It's looking for the rejection. We got the rejection. We got the retest. We closed red on the retest. Sellers trying to step back in. So I do want to see us try to continue stops near 40.01. Small stop loss, 4-1 on this. I'm not stressing if it hits. I'm not stressing if it fails. I do want to see this dollar start to move back. Right now, dollar's been within this range right here. So I want to see this low of the dollar start moving higher to support gold moving lower. And if it fails, it fails. That is it. It is what it is. You mind covering some US 30, or we should say the YM?
All right, good old industrials. Okay, so the Dow is going to be interesting here. And the reason I say the Dow is interesting is because when we were looking at the stocks that were doing well, all right, so you can see in sectors here, what's doing well. Utilities are up today, industrials are up today. So this is very typical rotation out of the stuff that's historically been higher beta, and we're now moving into the stuff that the market considers boring. So if we take a bit of a look out here at the Dow, you can see we had something very similar happen to what I was looking for in gold, looking for an NQ, taking out a prior important low, trapping some sellers, and then moving up. Where are we right now, though? We're in the thick of prior congestion, right? So this to me is like an area where I'm no longer interested in being a buyer or a seller. This would be where I'd be looking to take profits if I was long. You know, where would I be really interested in potentially buying this market? Shorting this market if we get a little bit higher up, start pressuring 53,000.
Okay, there we go. Now, when you're trading the ES, do you look at the Dow and NASDAQ as well?
No, I do.
No, you don't.
Nope.
Interesting.
No.
Cool, cool.
There is there are strategies that you can effectively leverage playing on the cross correlation between the indices, but I shouldn't say I never look at them, but I typically don't. There would have to be, for instance, a strong reason for the market to rotate out of tech, but still be bullish structurally on other elements of the market. That would be one area where I could be short NQ and long ES simultaneously, but that is a very rare trade.
Gotcha.
Okay, now the big thing I want to call out, what I was looking for on that ES trade, what happened to our friend the VIX?
Yeah, the VIX reverse.
Right.
There we go.
VIX reversed, started breaking below those averages I was talking about. And again, that's just an indication of what do I not want to do. I don't want to be short vol. I want to be, I don't want to be long vol. I typically want to fade vol extremes.
Awesome. Marie, I did end up taking a small short entry on gold. It is currently pulling back towards stop loss. If you're not in it, don't take it right now. Definitely not looking as strong to the downside here.
Yeah, I think the logic behind that trade was excellent. I'd still love for anywhere around the $30, $30 range in gold would be in my view. Even more premium pricing to be looking at, but I don't think this idea is bad at all. There is definitely supply here, and we could still see aggressive sellers start stepping in to knock down those bids.
Yep. Yeah, if we start rejecting hard, great, go for it. But right now, ES and NQ seem like the cleaner runs. ES up to that 75.12 already. We're getting there. We want 75.40. I'm telling you. Now, but we'll see. And if it doesn't, we're probably just going to expect that range. We have the weekly options expiration. But other than that, nothing else too much.
Yep. By the way, guys, as I'm looking at ES here, I'm going to be looking for weakness in that market as we head into the 18 to 22 range.
Yep. They just pulled a lot of orders off the book right here. Be careful. We're going to get some volatility.
So I'll pull up the equivalent. I know the pricing is going to be a little bit different. So then I know it's frustrating when I'm calling different numbers in ES that are different from what's on the CFD, but structurally the levels will be the same.
Yep. Guys, I'm out of gold there. Don't take that. Garbaggio. Yeah, no, I dipped out. I dipped out a minute ago. Once that 5 minute was getting ready to close, we had like 30 seconds left and it was holding high. I said, no, thank you. So, yes, man, ripping off those lows. That is phenomenal.
Here's what I'm looking for ES. I'm looking for a potential trap in terms of buyers here. Looking for buyers to really push the action and get stranded up here.
Awesome.
I'm not taking any shorts, not doing anything right now. I'm just waiting to see if buying volume completely dries up.
Cool.
I don't see any evidence for that yet.
Our current daily volume profile on the S&P has a bit of a low volume shelf, like from the overnight.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you said, not much lining up in this area unless VIX is also at a key level. VIX is at a point where it reversed to the upside before on, what is that, 8 a.m. Eastern today.
Yep, I'm liking this. I'm taking a little nibble here.
On a short?
Yep.
I'm thinking I'm going to join you on that.
Not filled yet. I'm still waiting. I have a limit set here. Roughly. Okay. Now I got filled.
Okay, cool. I'm watching these highs. I'm not in it yet myself. I'm looking for this, like I said, 75.22 area, top of the range, 75.28 possible stop loss. They're trying to defend.
So I should be clear that's half my position I'm in. I'm setting another limit a little bit higher up.
Awesome.
So I'm setting another limit roughly. Let me just see. In ES, the price would be just around 24.25.
NVIDIA and SpaceX are both still pushing very bullish right now. Apple, Microsoft, Meta, those are dropping, but Google, NVIDIA, and SpaceX are still pumping.
I'm going to pull that second limit just because I'm seeing a little bit more strength than I would like as we're trading into the 20s. So I'm going to keep half my position on here.
Yeah.
I don't want to see us trade too far above here, right? So we have these highs here on ES. I don't want to see us hold above those highs.
Yep. Just hit a strong passive seller at 23. If we break back above it, though, I'm definitely a bit more concerned on these buyers to keep that trend going.
Yep. Agree with that. So I'm also going to put a sell stop just below 16.
Nice.
Trying to catch a little bit more momentum on that fade.
That NVIDIA looks like it wants to bring us higher.
Yeah.
Apple trying to reject low day. Microsoft wicking a little bit here. What's our VIX doing? VIX trying to base out a little bit. Let's find some hefty sellers here. Let's range bound this. Let's trap those buyers at those highs right now. Pull back towards VWAP 7504 would be a nice little first TP. 15 points from target, from entry. Really struggling to get some continuation of the downside below here. 75.17. If we get below 75.17, we should be gold. But These buyers, man, they said, nah, not yet. Nah, forget that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is still a little bit too strong.
Yeah. Is that ew, brother, ew price action? Getting a lab on the phone and ask about gold. What's gold doing? Gold's doing a whole lot of nothing right now, man. Shorts aren't playing out. Buyers are getting stopped out. Gold markets are much harder than the ES and NQ markets lately. Wow, look at that. 70, 75, 45 is where I originally wanted to look for some shorts today.
You know, I would be so impressed if we can get up there.
We're already at
would be. Like,
25.
that would be incredible.
We're already at 25. There's economic news in 5 minutes. Oh, good call, guys. Yes. You want to pull up market? Michigan consumer sentiment at 10.
Just got our calendar here. Yeah, sentiment coming in hot. So if we look
came
at,
out already. 10 past.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Coming in hot. So let's see if that signal ends up following through here.
What a rip.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I mean, just getting so and that's the thing, right? Like you know where you want to get out. You don't want to see that momentum go in your face.
Yep.
Right. So there's a reason I pulled those the other half of the position. I don't want to limit into something with overwhelming momentum. I want to limit in on weak momentum.
Yep. Yes, with another seller up here off 75.30. Not my spot. I'm not shorting it. If it's not at your level, you're not taking any trades, guys. All middle of nowhere.
For me, the key is watching 20 in ES 75.20.
75.20. Got you. Got you. As support now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I still have a sell limit at 16. You know, so I haven't moved my sell limit. You know, I gotten out of the original position, but I'm keeping a sell limit at 16.
Gotcha.
Sorry, not a sell limit, a sell stop at 16. So if we blow through 16 on momentum to the downside, I'll be a seller there, but you know, otherwise I'm not going to get triggered into another short.
Yeah. Got a clean run up right here, guys. Do not be shorting this at the moment, in my opinion. Not yet. Not yet.
No, I don't see any reason to be pulling the trigger just yet. We need to see, right, evidence of what? Trapped buyers. So that was my thesis for going short right around 20, 21. It's because we have what? We saw a lot of buyers coming in the market. They were unable to lift the offer, but sellers were unable to break through passive buyers sitting, you know, right around that 18, 17 level.
Yeah.
This to me, we have a lot of buyer delta coming in. And the market's sitting pretty steady right now.
Yep.
It's unable to push higher. I think this is do or die time for buyers. They really need to go for it now, shove it above 29.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, crazy markets right here. M buys from 39.67 holding till 40.40 on what, XAU? Yeah, probably. 39.67 from the lows. Nice, brother. Great entry. Well done. Well done. Yes, trying to find some continuation here. Next passive seller level I see is 75.32.
I don't see anything at 32 though.
No.
No, like I don't see it. Like I don't see that as a significant level. I wouldn't want to be a seller there. I think that's someone. I think that's someone trying to get filled on a profit-taking order, most likely.
100%. No, I'm not seeing it as like an aggressive seller. I'm seeing it as a passive seller sitting there. So possible reaction, but we're going to need more volume to push through it. But like you said, yeah, most likely somebody taking profit at that point. Look at that. NASDAQ also ripping up. NVIDIA is a huge mover of the NASDAQ. And NVIDIA, it went from 198 to 204 in a matter of 20 minutes. That is a 3% gain, and it's still going. Wow, and NASDAQ's just straight up. This is crazy. You looking at the NASDAQ chart?
Yeah, I'm looking at NQ right now. I'm considering NQ. I love the location where NQ is sitting. Love that location.
Yep.
It just needs to be able to hold here, build some sustained value. If it can do that,
here's that 32. ES continuing to climb its way higher. Guys, if you're here on YouTube, man, make sure you run that like button up. Let's hit 50. An easy 50 today, guys. Now, let's see where we at right now. I'll let you guys know. There's a... No, you guys are rocking. We're at 30. You guys are lacking today. But I know it's Friday. Fridays are usually a bit lower on the view scale. But let's make some money, man. Let's find a good setup here. Huge seller looking like you're at 32 that just got filled.
yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on both NQ and ES here. Looking to see if NQ can hold
Yep.
above the full session value area high, and then looking for ES to sustain this bid.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see, man. Those buyers mean business today off that open. Really, since 9:45.
I think ES might have a bit of a hard time here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right off that 32. NASDAQ also at a point that I had marked out for some reason. What do I mark this out for? Probably volume profile.
So I'm seeing a lot of buyers that tried to shove it through the 30s and failed. I'm gonna take a look here at taking another nibble at this, provided we can't get back above 30. All right, so I'm looking very carefully at 75.30, seeing if we can pop back above there and fail. Otherwise, looking, for me, the failure point is going to be below the full sessions developing value area high, which is at 23 right now. So we're at 30, looking to see here for failure. Looking at the flow very closely.
We're at 30 here.
And that's me. I'm in.
You're good. Yeah, you want to share your chart? Unless you want me to share mine, I keep mine up. Whatever works.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm trying to juggle like 4 different screens.
Yeah,
right
bro,
now.
do your thing. Guys, Emery's making money.
In at
Stop bothering.
28. Don't want to see us get back above 33 and a quarter. Again, these are just nibbles, guys. Like I'm not looking. These are very counter trend trades given the momentum right now. I'm not looking to give back too much from being up on a much better bullish momentum trade there. I still think that the more interesting trade is to see if NQ can hold above its value area high, which is at just below 28.88. Let's see. So far, this is.
Yeah, we're rejecting. Nice off that 32. Bit of a low volume shelf here on our current daily and intraday New York session volume profile between 22 and 25. 22 and 25. Bro, these sellers keep getting absorbed. And the buyers are like, nah, not yet. Let's see. VIX is at a key level. I'd love to see this level on VIX give us a reversal back to the upside on VIX, which would be a bearish reversal on ES and NQ. 15-minute did just
Oh,
close
yeah.
very bullish though too.
Oh, yeah.
30-minute has 14 minutes to close. Hourly has 45 minutes to close. We did just close on the hourly about 15 minutes ago. 4-hour time frame, trying to reject higher. Yeah, tough point. I'm not taking any shorts myself right now. Just don't trust the sellers just yet.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. If I had nothing in the bank, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be pressing this. Right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted that stop right at that level, right? I wanted it there for a reason, because above there, where am I seeing continuation? Right above there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see if we want to get back up to I was originally looking for
40s, right?
5. It's looking for 45, man. 10 points away now. Big buyer at this high at 35. We're going to cruise.
Meanwhile, in NQ, I'm liking this setup here.
Where are we looking at? Oh, let me get you back on there.
So I've got it on my other screen, but I like here how NQ pulled back a little bit, and we're coming into some big buyers right at 28.81. Yep. And I'm liking this higher, man.
What's that?
I said I'm liking this higher here.
Yeah. Yeah, these buyers are not giving up without a fight. A lot of sellers got absorbed off that 25, trying to make another high here. And there it is. Boom goes the dynamite.
So I like the I like NQ higher here, right? So I'm in that.
Ice.
Just getting in.
NVIDIA's at a super strong level that I have here. I'm going to share my screen real quick. One moment. Take a look at this level on NVIDIA. For the past week, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, support,
Yep.
support. Now we're right back at it. How does NVIDIA want to react? Do we want to find a reaction somewhere near the zone to the downside? Can NASDAQ, S&P find that short position? Can we hit 45 on ES while NVIDIA starts rejecting too? But we'll see. We shall see. I don't want to try longs at these highs. Definitely, unfortunately, missed the boat on those.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, I just got stopped at a break even on NQ here.
Okay.
Let's see now. But I'm looking to get back in so long as we have that momentum. Just not seeing it right this second yet.
NVIDIA rejecting that level right now, so be careful. NASDAQ at a point that was support becomes resistance. Very low volume imbalance here on NASDAQ between 75 and 926 on our future session volume profile. Let's see. Let's see. NASDAQ. What are we doing here, gang? Are we rejecting or what?
If we hold 28,850 here, then I think the chance at running another high on the session is not impossible.
Yeah. No, agreed. NVIDIA
looking at that as a potential scalp, but it's not. It's just none of these are super exciting trades. I think the rip from the lows was obviously the trade to get. And anything now, like even weakness now, does not mean a full-blown reversal. It just means rotating back through value.
That's right. That's right. Don't be, if you're looking for shorts, don't be the person that shorts every little sign of weakness.
Yeah, agreed.
Even Nasdaq, they're small upper wick, but it's like, is it really rejecting that point? I would really be a bit more patient. ES looks like it's trying to reject, but everything is just very sideways right now. These are market conditions we do not want any part of just yet. ES is definitely finding more sellers up here than buyers at this point, and yet buyers are refusing to let price go.
Yeah, this is the battle, right? This is the battle that we're trying to build acceptance above the value area highs of the day.
Let's see. Nas,
I'm watching this very closely, hoping for, for something that's high probability that I can put some decent size behind, but
yeah.
Other than a failure back below the value area high, I'm not really seeing anything.
Okay.
Unless,
Yeah, I know. I do like
you know,
this, like you said, value area high that we're rejecting right here on NQ.
Yeah.
But again, those buyers just ain't giving up yet.
I might put some size behind an NQ burst to new session highs, but I'm not seeing the trigger yet.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing a little bit more weakness than strength.
Whenever I see market conditions like this where it's a very push-pull between buyers and sellers, I'm a much bigger fan of, instead of staying on that 5-minute, looking at a 15, looking at a 30, like what's really lining up. If we're going to get a reversal, those time frames are going to be the ones that tell us, not a 5-minute.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Nasdaq wants highs again. Nvidia's trying to push up. SpaceX trying to push up. Come on, NQ. You know you want to reject this point. Stop messing around.
Let's see. I think we're just still kind of building up. If we break below 20, then I can see a quick little flash drop.
Okay.
In 2882 in NQ.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
But so far holding strong.
Yeah. Yeah, these buyers are a brick wall today. We just want one flush, one quick 300-point flush, and then we'll call it a day.
Just 300 points, yeah.
That's
just
it.
300 points would be great.
Not a big ass. Minute 57 left here in the 5-minute. 6.5 minutes left in the 30. 6.5 left in the 30. Yeah, 6.5 left in the 30 is pretty big. I'd want to see this 5-minute close bearish and have some follow through on the next.
I see it coming.
Yeah, nice rejection on Nvidia.
Looking for that quick flush below 20 would be really nice. And I'd only be looking for 28,789. Nothing too dramatic there.
Yeah.
Nothing too dramatic at all.
Minute 27 left here, guys. Make or break right here for continuation or a bit of a reversal.
Oh, the other thing for me, guys, is because of the way my options structure works, is that I always have underlying long exposure to the market, just by virtue of the types of positions that I have on. So because of that, it's far easier for me to have a short position in futures because it's a natural hedge to my options portfolio as well. Okay. That doesn't mean that I want to short just for the sake of it. I want to pair that strategically.
Right. Let's see.
All right, so for NQ, I think this is that moment here where we're either going to fail at these highs one more time or we're going to get a quick pop. En route to maybe even those 29,000s up above.
Yeah.
Buyers want it.
Buyers want it. Buyers want that 45 area.
There it goes.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
They just have to hold now.
Yeah. Buyers don't care. Buyers ain't giving up. But just remember, buying those highs is not the play either.
No, it is not the play. It is not the play. You don't want to be paying retail pricing.
I do like how we're trying to shape up to reject this 28,875 on the NASDAQ. It's just, it looked like we were getting ready to reject 28,840, and then we pushed through. Like, we, again, don't want to be the first to sell. Let it prove to us, yeah, we're rejecting, and then we can take that trade.
Exactly. So I still have a sell stop just below 30 now, which is where I see the break point in NQ. 28.8. Sorry, 28.83.
Cool.
Just below there. Just below there.
28.83.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, let us know. Have you taken any trades so far today? These markets have been extremely range bound. Even gold, right? Somebody asked before, what about gold longs, gold shorts? He said, don't go long or short. You're going to get stopped out. And that's exactly what the price action was doing. We went up and we went down. We went up, we went down. We went up and we went down. Now, let's see. Do you think if we fail to hold above and then start to inverse below low LVN, I would assume, LDN highs, can we look for shorts on NQ considering NQ was very bearish?
I wouldn't say like NQ is very, very bearish. We're at the bottom of what has been a long-standing balancing range. So I would actually argue that although the momentum was to the downside, this is an area where buyers have been historically happy to consider the market to be at a discount, and step in. So I don't think that it's a very bearish chart at all, to be honest. I think that short-term momentum is making people, look for a breakdown, but until that balancing range no longer functions as a balancing range, I'd be inclined to give buyers the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting a pump on Apple at the moment. Nvidia's starting to dump finally. What else we got? SpaceX starting to pull back a little bit. I wouldn't consider it dumping just yet.
If my NQ position triggers, I'm going to be very quick with this. I'll be trimming at 28.81 and then looking to exit by 28.789.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice.
So I'm looking for just very quick momentum.
Took a buy on S&P at 75.45. 75.45. Wait, what? 74.45. I'm looking at 75.45. Like, did you get filled on a spread? But nice, 74.45. Am I reading that right? 75.45. We hit 75.76 today. Could have been 75.75.
Yeah. Still waiting.
Getting a bit of a rejection here on the 5-minute and 15. Nvidia dumping, which is great for the shorts. But don't you think the geopolitical tensions and oil rising, also new AI models from China, is pushing market down? What are your thoughts on that, Imre?
I think that's probably tomorrow's story. I think right now, I think that the focus is more on the Middle East and not so much on China yet. But the market's always looking for a narrative, right? And I think that is going to be an interesting narrative to be looking at in the future.
Awesome. Nvidia still dumping, Google dumping, Apple pumping, Meta's weak, and SpaceX is also weak. This 5-minute closes in 7 seconds. So does the 30-minute, right? 30-minute closes very soon too. 1 hour, 15 just closed. Definitely a bit more bearish than bullish, but still don't want to fight this.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed with that.
There we go. If NVIDIA does continue lower, NASDAQ definitely will too as well.
So I'm trimming back here on my NQ short. That's my first target. We just came to.
Okay. Where'd you get your short entry?
So I had that sell stop right at 30.
Cool.
We were talking about, or 2883. Sorry, I keep using ES nomenclature. And now looking to dump the rest or buy back the rest. Oh, and the remainder just got stopped at a break even. So that was a very, very short-term short, which is probably what this market deserves. But hey, this just goes back to what I was saying, right, guys, about being very quick on the trigger. You know, like I don't think you want to overstay your welcome in any type of trade. So I want to cut the trades very quickly the moment they're going my way. I want to mitigate risk. Do I still see potential weakness here? Yeah, for sure. But I have my first target, you know, right around 28, 81, 82 for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, if I see this momentum continue below that level, I can look for more to go with it. But right now, I'm not seeing anything yet.
Okay. SpaceX starting to dump, NVIDIA finding some weakness too. If we can come back to that low we were just at, that 28,808, I would be a bit more optimistic on a short position on NASDAQ. It is breaking through that right now, so we'll see if we have some follow through there. But like Emery said, guys, if you're in a short, you're in a trade, you want to be very quick with taking those profits off the table versus keeping risk on the table when we see markets have been trying to scale higher today.
Holding below 28 here in you know, an ES would be really interesting to me. That opens the door to some further weakness.
Yeah. I like these shorts. I got a bit more confidence in these right now.
I'm going to press ES a little bit here as well. I love that there's a natural, very clear stop just above 31, 32.
Yep. Hitting an area of support on NASDAQ at the moment. It's 28,780. Just be a little careful for a pullback. I'd like to see a much stronger drop through this. There's 75. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice 15-minute candle forming there. I'm out. Happy trading. Yo, take care, man. See you Monday. Nice. There we go.
Okay. Sure. I'm trimming ES a little bit, Kevin.
Sure.
Just grabbing, locking up a couple more points. There you go. Now this is, you know, couple punts didn't work out. Couple punts did. Overall, it's been a good day.
Good.
Not a home run. But
no, definitely not a home run day for sure. NVIDIA still falling out the sky right now. Got to see a stronger drop on NVIDIA is going to help NASDAQ have that follow through we're looking for. I'll look to add on NASDAQ shorts if we break below VWAP. If we don't, I'm just holding. Let's see. 46 seconds left. Trying to let this 5-minute close, but I do know that we are trying to find support.
Yeah, I'm willing to build the ES position up quite a bit if we can break below 75.17, but here, okay, so ES might end up being a bit of a break-even trade for me. Although I trimmed the position and took a couple contracts off the table, you know, I'm leaving the stop as is, just above 31.50.
Cool.
So if we get back above there, you know, for me, the net result will be a wash. Maybe a very slight very slight loss, but still overall good day with the quick NQ short.
Yeah, for sure.
ES long.
For sure. I'm looking for some lower highs to form here on that lower time frame on NQ. Gonna add to the winner, but if we hold, we want to move back. I'm staying in just one position, very light size today.
Yeah.
VIX is trying to move higher off of a key level, which is good, but there go the buyers saying we do not want to give up yet.
All right, I'm out of ES here, so that way I don't want to have what is a winning trade turning into a break even or a slight loser at this point, just seeing the momentum shift. So again, no home runs. It's just been pretty steady and boring of a late morning session here.
Ooh.
I think flipping to NQ again, if we can break above the current session highs and hold, will be very interesting.
Yep.
ES still has a lot more work to do.
Did ES end up hitting? No, it did not hit that 45 I was looking for. I'm going to be out of NASDAQ if we spike through that 60 again. Yeah, we're getting close to it.
All right, Kev, I think I'm going to call it here, man. I don't want to turn a small winning day into a needlessly frustrating losing one day trading.
Very good.
But yeah, so I mean, this was a really boring day, guys, in my opinion. If you didn't catch that move off the lows, so that was my big, it's by far and away my best trade on the day. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I think Friday is this Friday in particular is going to be a bit of a tough trade just because of everything that's going on fundamentally, macro wise. I see a big buildup of orders here. I still technically favor this market as being bullish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think directionally this is not the environment where you want to press too hard one way or the other.
100%. 100%. Imre, thank you so much for being here today, brother. Great insights.
Yeah, no worries. My pleasure, Kev.
Absolutely. Great trades. Good analysis. Sucks today was a very poor range bound day. Very lack of follow through going on in these markets, but it is what it is. We don't make these markets, so we gotta just let them play out as is.
Yeah, choppy overall for my P&L curve. Gave back a little bit on a couple of those punts, but hey, if you are up today, however small, I would consider that a win.
Yeah.
Fantastic job to those of you guys who smashed the overnight shorts heading into cash open. I think that was obviously the amazing trade. Hard trade for me to pull the trigger on, but amazing nonetheless.
Good work, guys. Good work. Imre, have a great rest of your day, brother. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's 10:38 actually. We're going to be wrapping up market in the morning as well. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Fantastic stream, great insights. Choppy, slow markets today on a Friday. It happens. We had a killer week. So it is what it is. Just can't give those profits back for your week, guys.
Exactly.
Awesome. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we will see you guys back here on Monday. Later.
See you guys.